Brad from H2Vinyl. Hope you had a great week. This has been kind of a crazy week. The first half of the week I was able to listen to a good amount of music, maybe 3 or 4 records a night, but Wednesday night ran into some interesting problems in the house. And my tagline is vinyl is essential to our molecular existence. Well, vinyl, not music-wise, was essential this week. Wednesday night I had pipes burst in my house, and it wasn't too bad, but definitely needed to be taken care of. And so PVC saved the water in my house from not being inside my house. So the last few days have been without water, and also pretty much paying attention to restoring water in the house. So I didn't get to listen to very much vinyl this week, but still got to listen to some good things. As I mentioned before in my previous video, I did 3 bulk buys of about 2,200 records in 2015. I am going to basically create kind of episodic content of diving through some of those bulk buys, and this is one of those episodes. So let's get to it. So one of the first albums that I listened to this week really does need no introduction, and this is James Brown's Papa's Got a Brand New Bag. This is the second copy that I've had of this. This was released in 1965. This is an original copy. It's really banged up. I have this, as I said, this is my second copy that I have in my collection. The first one I had marked as, hey, find another. And I think I may have put use as an LP divider. It pains me to say that. But it was in really bad shape, skipping all over the place. And not just skipping all over the place, but repeat skipping. It didn't really find it worth much. This one doesn't skip at all, but does have quite a bit of crackle. So I'm still earmarking this as to find another one. I've only listened to this album a couple times. Really enjoyed it. James Brown is just so good. But I do need to listen to this several more times to actually make it my own, much like the other albums in this set, since they're pretty new to me still. The second artist that I've listened to was Bob Welch. I didn't know anything about this guy until I started doing a little bit of research. I actually found out that he was a part of Fleetwood Mac. This album is 3 Hearts, which is his second solo artist album. It was released in 1979. I believe his first release, I could be wrong, is 1977. I believe also that he was in Fleetwood Mac from 71 to 74. This, I'm not 100% sure what to make of this yet. Again, need to listen to it a few more times to try and decide whether it goes in my collection or not. Some of the tracks that stand out is the cover track that he did, I Saw You Standing There, which is originally a Beatles song. And then I skipped over the 3 Hearts, didn't really care for it, but The Ghost of Flight 401. I thought it was kind of interesting to hear, and Don't Wait Too Long kind of stood out to me as well. So, like I said before, this will be played a few more times, and we'll find out whether this remains on the fence or goes into my collection, or if I decide to sell it. So there we go. So this next artist that I've listened to this week kind of is like the last artist, where I don't know a whole lot about them. I've heard of them. Well, okay. Bob Welch I hadn't heard of. Be clear on that one. But this one is the Alan Parsons Turn of a Friendly Card, which was released in 1980. I don't know a whole lot about Alan Parsons' project. I do have a couple of other albums by them. I, Robot is one of them, and then the other one is Eye in the Sky. which is the album right directly after this one. While I marked this down as a keeper for me, it's pretty much strictly by the Alan Parsons project name. I really liked Eye in the Sky a lot, and iRobot was pretty good too. Glad to have it in the collection. Definitely need to spin it a few more times before I really make it kind of my own. So the fourth album that I've been listening to from diving into the bulk buys is the Kinks' Think Visual. Not too familiar with this album. I am familiar with the Kinks. A lot of people love the Kinks in the vinyl community, and so I'm really going to give this one a few more listens. This is marked as keep because I do have a couple. Actually, I have one Kinks album. It's actually 2 copies of the same Kinks album, which is Give the People What They Want. Love that album through and through. Pretty much have made it my own. But this one I've marked down Repetition and Natural Gift as kind of the tracks that stood out for me. But definitely need to listen to this one a few more times to really, again, make it my own. And the fifth and final album that I want to mention in this video is Jimmy Smith's Bashin', the Unpredictable Jimmy Smith. This album, wasn't fully sure about it at first, but as soon as the stylus hit the vinyl, I fell in love with it. Anytime you give me a kind of a jazz organ with 4 trumpets behind it and a good bass line and everything, and this is through and through. Well, at least on the first side. First side has the trumpets and all, and then Jimmy Smith follows it up on the B-side and plays throughout pretty much the entire B-side with very little backup, just a little bit of guitar. The 4 trumpeters, because I looked them up, the 4 trumpeters on this album, and I just listened to this tonight. I don't even have my little cheat sheet. This was 1962, and this is quite possibly, other than it being stereo, I do wish it was mono, this is quite possibly, in my opinion, one of the best copies available in the world. This vinyl was absolutely silent through, I want to say, 90% of it. There was a little bit of crackle in the front, but was really happy to find this in the bulk buy of 1,200 records that I bought in October 2015. And the cover is in almost near mint condition. The vinyl is in almost near mint condition. And the trumpeters, getting off onto that tangent, I want to try and name them. There's 4 of them. Doc Severinsen, Ernie Royale, and there are 2 Joes, Joe Wilder and Joe Newman. I'm not fully familiar with some of their work, but I do know that they've played with some key artists. And one of the goals of my my vinyl collecting is since I played trumpet in high school, well, actually from 5th grade to high school, and I was in pep band, and I was in jazz band, and I was in marching band. The trumpet really has the trumpet is basically a part of my soul. And so what my goal is for my collection is not just have a decent jazz section, but I want to have it sectioned off where I have really great trumpeters as well. That's kind of what I've been listening to this week. I've listened to a little bit more, but I wanted to try and keep this video shorter than the last one. No 40-minute video here, promise you that. But I'm hoping you're having a great week. And until I see you next time, I hope you have a great time too. This is Brad from H2Vinyl, signing out.